Ghost town Britain. Empty streets, empty pubs, shuttered factories. Lockdown may now be over, but Britain is still counting the costs of shutting down the economy. Alongside the death toll, confirmation now of an unprecedented collapse in economic activity.
When we were chatting a few months ago, I said that hard times were coming, and today's numbers show that hard times are here. Hundreds of thousands of people have already lost their job, and many more will. It's not a sustainable situation to have vast swathes of our economy essentially shut down, and that's why we have been able to successfully reopen bits and do it in a safe way. And as people get back to going shopping or going out for a meal or indeed getting back to their office, they will see that it's a new normal, it's a safe normal.
And they shouldn't be too nervous about the virus, should they?
No, I think as people will see as they go out, whether it's to a shop, whether it's to a restaurant, or whether it indeed is back to their office, I think they will see changes, and we want to try and protect as many jobs as possible. That comes from as much of our economy returning to normal as possible.
It is officially a recession, though that word recession, 2 successive quarters of contraction, hardly does justice to it. A 20.4% drop in the 3 months ending June. It's the worst quarterly drop since this crucial statistic, gross domestic product, was first conceived of nearly a century ago. In the space of 6 months, the UK lost nearly 2 decades of national income, more than any major economy except for Spain. The good news, though, is that it did bounce back in June, growing 8.7%. A hopeful sign, but it still leaves GDP 17.2% below where it was before the virus struck. But for some businesses, including this one in London, now that bounce is starting to be felt.
We've seen a massive uplift in sales. It's the first time ever that our production has been out to the beginning of December. Normally we work in a 6-week cycle, so that would take us to about mid-September, end September. And so for us to be this full is excellent.
Promising news, but the economy can only bounce back if it's allowed to stay open, which brings us back to Downing Street. There is another sense in which this is unprecedented. Most recessions are thrust upon governments, whereas this one, to some extent at least, was imposed by this government as part of the lockdown, which raises another question. If there is a second surge in cases, would the Chancellor be willing to impose that kind of sacrifice all over again?
My personal view is that a V-shaped recovery is probably over-optimistic. I think it'll take longer than that. It might be 2021, 2022 before we're back where we are. If we have a second wave, the economy will be in real trouble.
The Chancellor is now considering scaling back the ambition of his budget and spending review this autumn. Another sign he's expecting more tough times ahead for the government and for the economy. Ed Conway, Sky News.